I'm recording this video before I've seen if people even enjoyed the last one, but I'm enjoying doing tier lists, man, so I don't care. Here we are on the UK snacks tier list. I've not made this myself, this is just one that I found. So there's gonna be some stuff missing, but I think this is a pretty good group of snacks here. It's mostly sweets, but that's okay. That's what we're here for. We're gonna rank them. And the first one on our list is mini eggs. I don't know if I need to explain these snacks. I don't know how British these are. I don't know how, much people won't know about them. I'll give a brief description. They're kind of like the size of a small grape. They are just solid chocolate with like a sugar outer shell. They look pretty cool. They also look a lot like eggs and they taste pretty great too. They're usually quite popular around Easter. I don't know if they even sell them when it's not Easter, but it's definitely A tier in terms of chocolate. They're super easy to share. They're super easy to just throw in your mouth and chew, and it's fun. It's got a nice texture to it. The crunch and the smoothness of the chocolate go well together. Next up, we've got Walker's Salt and Vinegar Crisps. Honestly, hot take, but I actually do like salt and vinegar crisps a lot. But I don't really care too much for the Walker's ones. My issue with most salt and vinegars is it doesn't taste strong enough. Like some brands will have a salt and vinegar that tastes super strong, like really strong. Like over here, I think this is pickled onion Munster Munch. Super strong flavor, right? The people who like it, love it. And the people who like Walker's salt and vinegar, I mean, they probably just like it, right? This is something that I would avoid if it was in the bag. But I don't hate them, so it's just gonna go and see. What is this? Is this a caramel wafer bar? Yes, this is a caramel wafer bar. Caramel wafer bars. S tier. S tier. I don't know why they've called this S plus tier when there's no S tier, but this is definitely S tier. They're usually super cheap. You can get a bunch of them for like little to no money, and they taste great. The texture is always awesome. There's a little bit of caramel in there. Beautiful, beautiful. Next up, the infamous Greggs sausage roll. If you don't know what a Greggs sausage roll is and you've never had a Greggs sausage roll in your life, you, my friend, are missing out. Get yourself one of these because it's not the best sausage roll in the world, right? A Greggs sausage roll, don't get me wrong, it's not the most tasty sausage roll you can ever get anywhere. It's not the supreme sausage roll of like flavor and quality. But what a Greggs sausage roll is a fantastic sausage roll that's cheap and is accessible everywhere, at least in the UK. You could have a Greggs sausage roll an hour away from where you are when you just had one, and it will taste identical. I would say a Greggs sausage roll is a little bit better than a chocolate caramel wafer bar. Jaffa cakes. Jaffa cakes, I distinctly remember enjoying these most as a child. It's essentially a cake, like just a plain thin cake, kind of like a biscuit size or like a cookie size if you're American. And it's got like this little jam, like an orange flavored little like jam or like jelly. And it's got a very, very thin layer of chocolate over the top of it. It's nice, it's a treat, but Jaffa cakes are not in the S tier. I almost want to put them in A tier. But what's actually holding me back is that Jaffa cakes often have the argument of, is it a biscuit, is it a cake? It's obviously a cake because it's got cake in the name. The problem with that is that they are the exact same size as biscuits, but you can't really dunk them because they go soggy and horrible. So it's a B tier. If I could dunk this in my tea, it would be A. Next up, the humble custard cream. For me, these are one of the best biscuits around. Super consistent amongst other brands. It does not matter. A custard cream is a custard cream. You're always getting the same thing. They aren't an S tier. They're definitely an A tier for me. They are definitely around. In fact, I'd say they're a bit better than mini eggs just because of how consistent they are. Next up, the original penguin bar. An original penguin bar, for those of you who don't know, it's literally just a biscuit, like a long biscuit with chocolate on it. It is the most generic biscuit bar you can get, but they do have jokes on, so it's got that going for it. They're okay. They're a B. Next up, the Star Bar. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think I've had one of these. I think I may have had one in my life, and if I remember, it was like a sort of peanutty bar. I think it was kind of a C, to be honest. I've never gone to get out of my way to get one since, so I'm going to assume it wasn't the most impressive thing I've ever eaten. Jammy Dodgers. Straight in the S tier. Jammy Dodgers are brilliant for dunking. Next up, a McVitie's Gold Bar. Now, gold bars are nice. I enjoy a gold bar. They look more orange than gold. The wrapping actually is quite misleading, but I like gold bars. I would not put them any higher than a penguin, though. I'd say these are pretty much on par. Doritos Tangy Cheese. I have not had a tangy cheese Dorito in years, and from what I remember, they were okay. It's a low B, maybe a high C. Yeah, I'm going to put it in B, though, because I'd definitely pick these over salt and vinegar Walkers any day. Skittles. I'm sure this isn't just a UK thing. Definitely not a top tier pick, but they're consistent, and if they're there, I will take them. It's gonna be in the B tier. I'm gonna probably put it underneath the gold and the penguin, because I think I would rather have them than Skittles. Tea cakes. These are amazing. It's a essentially the same biscuit as the bottom base biscuit of a Jammy Dodger, with a bunch of marshmallow inside, and the entire thing's coated in chocolate. These are really nice, and I can demolish an entire pack, but you can't dunk them. So in terms of, again, like kind of like the Jaffa Cakes, where it's like kind of similar to a biscuit, where this one's even more like a biscuit than Jaffa Cake technically, because it actually has a biscuit in it. Can't dunk it, but are tea cakes on a higher level than Jaffa Cakes? I think they definitely are. I think they're a nicer treat. But I can't, in my right mind, put this in A. I can't. It's not on the same consistency level and ease level. I feel like the difference between B and A, ease of eating, like how easy are these to like go through, right? And don't get me wrong, I did say I could go through these tea cakes, and I can, but I feel like a pack of mini eggs, you open it and it's gone. And with custard creams, you usually get loads for your money, so you probably won't get rid of them super quick, but I've definitely been through a pack of custard creams in one sitting before. I've not been through a pack of these in one sitting, as much as I'd like to say I probably could. Next up is Skips. Skips might be a British thing, right? I've had my doubts on some of these, but I'm pretty sure these are a British thing. They are amazing. I love Skips. They've got this very, very, like, faint prawn cocktail flavor. It's very unique to your general prawn cocktails, which is usually very strong. But this is a nice light flavor. It's a very light crisp, being quite aerated, and they are in the like shell shape, and they fit perfectly on your tongue. And because they're so aerated, they literally just dissolve onto your tongue if you want them to. I love that about these. I love the flavor. You get quite a lot in the bag, at least you used to. I haven't had Skips in a while, but I would say that these are at the very top of A tier. Oh, but are they better than custard creams? I don't think they're better than custard creams, but they are definitely better than mini eggs. Oh, but are they? I tell you what, the A tier is the closest one out of all of these, I think. The A tier is quite hard to rank. And we've got a picnic bar. I know you can't really see that. It just looks like icnic. But these are okay. It's like a caramel chocolate bar with some nuts thrown in there. I'd say Picnic's kind of on the same level as a Star Bar in that I don't remember it too much. But I would probably say I'd rather have a Picnic than Ready Salted Walkers. The original cheesy Wotsits. I don't know how I feel about Wotsits. They are these like corn puff, I think they call them. Very artificial flavored cheese crisp. And they're okay. They kind of dissolve like the Skips do. But what you can do with Wotsits, which is quite fun, is because they're like this cone shape, not cone shape, like tube cylindrical shape, you can like put one on your tongue and crush it at the top of your mouth and end up with kind of like a pancake. That's a lot of fun. They're a fun crisp to eat. The flavor, however, is not that unique, and cheaper brands can pretty much replicate these like almost perfectly. They're okay, like they're good, but they're definitely not too high on this list. I think I'd probably put them just in front of the Doritos. Next up is wine gums. Get in the S tier. Wine gums are a sweet that never fails. And I've got to say, Maynards, they know how to make a sweet. Wine gums are better than Jammy Dodgers. Wine gums, ooh, are they better than a... That's a tough one. I think they're a bit better than Jammy Dodgers. They're definitely in the S tier. They're super easy to eat. These give me the same feeling I get from eating mini eggs, apart from if I open a pack of these, I can absolutely finish them and still want more. Whereas if I had a pack of mini eggs, I'd probably stop there and be like, you know what, I've had enough mini eggs for the day. But that is definitely not the case with wine gums. I genuinely reckon I could eat a barrel full of these. Next up, Walker's Cheese and Onion. I think I'd rather have these than a penguin. Cadbury Dairy Milk. This is just a plain Cadbury chocolate. I feel like everyone in the world knows this. I've heard Americans trying it and talking about it, so I'm assuming that I don't need to explain this. It's just a good chocolate bar. Matter of fact, Cadbury is the best chocolate bar. In terms of just pure chocolate and consistent chocolate flavoring, Cadbury Solos. It's got that premium taste to it. It's got something about it. It's special. And Cadbury Dairy Milk, just a plain bar, I feel like is the safest thing you can buy anyone as a gift. If you want to make someone happy, you don't know anything about them, get them one of these because you will not miss. You could get them a Cadbury Caramel bar, but what if they don't like caramel, or what if they don't like the texture? Cadbury Dairy Milk, everyone likes it. I've not met a soul, unless they don't like chocolate. I think I've met one person in my entire life who didn't like chocolate, and some people who obviously can't eat chocolate, but you should already know that or find that out. But this is incredible. This is an S tier, and I'm sad about this one. Plain, original, ready salted, whatever you want to call them, hula hoops. Hula hoops they're fun for kids. I'm old now, and my fingers are fat, and I can't use them as rings anymore, which is kind of their whole like appeal. Is it's a hoop, and you can put your finger through it, and you can eat the crisp off your finger. It's fun, but as an adult, you don't really get that fun unless you buy the ones that are extra big. And I've tried those, and even those don't fit on my fingers all the time. So, you know, a little disappointing on that regard. And also, they've picked the worst flavor. Gonna be a B tier again. I know. I'm filling up the B tier a lot. It's a little bit better than a Walker's Cheese and Onion. Doritos. What's this one? Cool Original. I don't remember eating these. Like, I know I've eaten them in my life, but these are like so forgettable. I'm gonna put these in D, because if you're getting these, what are you doing? Like, Doritos have the salted ones, right? This Cool Original is like old now. Who's still getting these? You've got the newer, better ones, which are like in a brown packet. Just get those. Next up is Whisper. Whisper. Is Whisper what I think it is? Is that the one? It's kind of like a flake, but it has the chocolate on the outside. I think that's what a Whisper is. And you've got a flake down here. Let me explain a flake. Well, the clue's in the name. It's chocolate, but if you take a bite out of it, it disintegrates everywhere and makes a massive mess. The only time a flake is acceptable to eat is if you have it in an ice cream. The flake is an ingredient. It is not a chocolate bar. The Whisper, however, takes that flake format, puts a layer of chocolate on the outside. It makes it less messy. It means you can take actual bites out of it, and it's damn near perfect. I'm gonna have to put this high. I'm gonna have to put this in A. Whispers are such a good chocolate bar. If you've not had a Whisper in a while, go get yourself one. If you've never had one, try and get one. Twix. Oh boy, Twix. They've got this whole left and right thing, which I was speaking to my brother about, and apparently they taste different. Honestly, I'm pretty sure these are all the same. And these are really good. These are honestly probably one of my favorite chocolate bars out there. I'd say that Twix are an S tier chocolate. Oreos. Now I know for a fact that an Oreo is not a British snack. An Oreo is definitely not a British snack. Maybe it originated here. I don't think so though, but hey, pull up the facts on that one. Oreos. I love Oreos actually. I generally would go around thinking, yeah, Oreos are okay. But every time I have an Oreo or anything Oreo with Oreo in it, I love it. I need to give Oreo like the credit it deserves. I really like Oreos. I think Oreos might push the S tier, just not quite. I think they're just a little over the custard creams. Next up, Milky Bar. I'm just gonna upset anyone who loves white chocolate right now. Yeah, no, get this at the top of C. I would rather have this than the three below it. Milky Bars are so sickly. They're so sweet. I get it because it's white chocolate, but it's so sweet. I eat this and my mouth just feels like it's coated in just sugar and syrupy mess. Don't get me wrong, the flavor's good, but if you have more than like one of the little squares, you're done for. Kit Kats I feel like are massively overhyped. Don't get me wrong, Kit Kats are good. They've got that iconic snap, which I usually don't even bother to do. I usually just chuck them in one whole thing, which some people find, you know, an issue with. But they're a good chocolate bar. They're just not satisfying enough. Like, they've got the foil on, it's nice, you can snap them, it's nice. It's like, it feels like it's trying to be a Twix and massively missing the mark though. They are an A tier. They are an A tier, but they're at the very bottom of A tier because I think they are better than tea cakes, but not by enough for me to say it's like way higher into the A tier. They're okay. They're acceptable. Next up, we have Cadbury mini rolls. Oh, these are an S tier. These are an S tier. I would say, oh, but are they? I feel like if I'm putting these in S tier, I should probably be putting Oreos in S tier. That is hard to say. But I feel like, no, I feel like that's fair because I'd say the overall enjoyment with an Oreo is much less than with a mini roll. Fruit pastels. I like fruit pastels. Fruit pastels, these are just a kind of, they're a chewy fruit sweet, pretty much generic what you'd expect. Kind of like the wine gums, but these have like a thick layer of hard sugar on them. They have this nice texture and they're very chewy. I like them. They're not even close to wine gums, unfortunately. But I do like them. I think they're in the A tier. And I would probably put it here. Pickled onion Monster Munch. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. If you get like the mixed bag of Monster Munch, you get the Flamin' Hot, which are essentially just tomato flavor. You get the roast beef or whatever it's called, like steak, something like that. It's like a meaty flavor. And then you have these, the pickled onion. Pickled onion Monster Munch are only nice like once a year when you have a weirdly specific craving for them, and never another time in the year. Very similar to the flake in how niche they are. I would actually say though that these are both still better than the cool original Doritos because literally who's buying these? How are the cool original Doritos even still in circulation? They literally have better ones out. Just buy the better ones. I'm meant to be talking about Pickled Onion Monster Munch and I'm getting annoyed at... We need a new tier. The cool original has to have its own category. These just... I don't understand how people are still buying them. If they are. But they have to be because otherwise they wouldn't still be on the shelves. Bourbons. Bourbon creams, some people call them. I like bourbon biscuits. The bourbon biscuit is a chocolate version of a custard cream. However, that does not make them better. These actually sit on the B tier. They're very similar to a penguin without chocolate on. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure like that it's come out that, I don't know if how true it is, but I'm pretty sure I saw online somewhere that a penguin is literally just a bourbon with a chocolate outer layer on. To be honest, even if that's not the case, it makes sense because the chocolate outer layer adds that much more to them. They're a good biscuit. They're not a great biscuit. The Cadbury Cream Egg. Now, I feel like this is one that'll upset people as well. I don't actually know what is inside these. It's just very, very sweet and sickly. These kind of, for me, sit in the same place as a Milky Bar where they're just alright. Cadbury actually have started doing caramel eggs, where they are filled with the caramel rather than the weird sticky sweetness. But since we only have the cream egg, it's going to be top of the C tier. Next up, we have the Bounty Bar. It is notorious for being the last one left in the celebrations. It's just like a bunch of ground up, blended up, tiny pieces of coconut. Very soft, and it has chocolate outer layer on it. It's nice. It's kind of like everything that the mini roll has going for it, the Bounty doesn't have going for it. It has this soft inside, but it has like no flavor, and the only flavor you get is coconut. And it's not the best flavor in the world. It really is not the best flavor in the world. I'd say the Bounty is slightly more enjoyable than a tangy cheese. But then that would be insinuating that I think a Bounty is more enjoyable than a cream egg, and I don't think that. I think tangy cheese has to go lower. I think tangy cheese has to go in C and the cream egg has to go in B. Oh wait, yeah, yeah. And then that's evened it out a bit. Or do we put the bounty in C now? I think now we put the bounty in C. Wait a minute, no. This is all we had to do in the first place. We just had to bring the tangy cheese down and everything is okay. Sorted. Next up, Jelly Belly that is hard to say. Jelly Belly Jelly Beans. I don't remember having this brand. Jelly beans in general are just okay sweets though. It's a jelly bean. It's wine gum if it had a hard outer shell and was really small and had worse flavor. I'd say I definitely prefer these to a cream egg, just not by a lot. Next up, we have the Hobnob. Now, a Hobnob is an interesting biscuit. This is kind of like a rich tea biscuit if a rich tea biscuit did not taste of nothing. I would honestly put these in A tier. Walker's Ready Salted. Get in the D tier, man. What is it with these companies and they're ready salted? Who's buying ready salted? But yeah, these are just, they're awful. I don't like them. I almost want to put them on Cool Original tier, but they're not as bad. They're not as bad as Cool Original tier because Cool Original would be good if they didn't make a better version of them. These don't have a better version. These are still awful and have been for as long as they've existed. Onto Doritos Chili Heatwave. I've not had these in years, but I distinctly remember enjoying these more than the rest of the Doritos that were out at the time, which was the ones that we actually have on this list. Where do I put them on this list is the question. Do I prefer a Chili Heatwave to most of the C tier? I think so. I think I might even prefer them to Wotsits. Next up, we have the Humble Mars Bar. The Humble Mars Bar is a better chocolate bar than Kit Kat. It is a better chocolate bar than Whisper. It is more enjoyable than Fruit Pastels. And that's it. Honestly, Fruit Pastels and Mars Bar are almost interchangeable. I just think that Mars Bars they feel a bit more premium. I've never, as an adult, eaten a Mars Bar and sat there and thought, this isn't made for me. Whereas Fruit Pastels, I definitely, every time I have these, I get that feeling. Next up, we have, I believe this is, oh no, I thought it was crispy M&Ms. This is peanut M&Ms. Peanut M&Ms, man. They're okay. I'm putting peanut M&Ms just below Skittles. They just beat out the Chili Heatwave. And there you go. That's it. That is my UK snacks tier list. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Let me know if you think I'm just completely wrong. And see you in the next one.